You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
You know, something somebody told me at IBM before I left was, one, there's two quotes that I really live by. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anybody else? That's one of the biggest quotes that I live by. If I don't believe I could be number one, why would anybody else think I could be number one? Yeah. Like, that's the energy I should have when I wake up. And two, somebody told me your professionalism is a reflection of you. So if you don't care about it, that says a lot about how you feel about yourself.
Wow. Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. Because I asked him, I was like, how come you're just so professional? Like, why do you care like so much? And he was like, why don't you care?
Ooh.
Why don't you care about what you do every day and what you wake up to put in the effort to do? Like, why half-ass it? Like, why give 75% of it, you know?
Yeah.
And the more that I've had that mentality, the easier it becomes to be number one, because most people don't come in with that mentality.
Yo, so one of the things we talk about so much is tech sales. A lot of people think that sales engineering is a tech sales role, and I have to correct people and let people know it's pre-sales, but it's not technically tech sales. And one of the things that I've noticed is that many people that are very new to this tech industry, especially people who are finding out about tech through myself or through Tech is the New Black, they tend to think, well, Cyrus, you chose sales engineering, so that must be where all of the money is at. That must be where all of the opportunity is at. So we want to do that over tech sales. And one of the things I have to correct people on is, yo, if you're trying to get in this industry and you want to make money, it's like, there's a huge bag in tech sales. Don't think just because I chose sales engineering that tech sales is not a big bag. And so we've had dope guests on who've talked about tech sales, who've given us some pretty cool insights, but we've yet to have someone on here that talks about tech sales that's a senior in the industry. And even on top of that, we haven't had someone that's talked about it that works, that does tech sales with enterprise level companies. So again, we have very small business, that's VSB, small business, medium-sized business, mid-market, and then you have enterprise, which is the big companies with all the big bucks. So we have a guest on today that is really crazy. She's scaled to being a senior level enterprise in tech sales in only 8 years. So man, please give a virtual round of applause. Leave some clapping emojis for those of y'all that are watching this after the fact to our guest, Kayla Burks.
Hey y'all, what's going on?
Yo, Kayla, thank you so much for being on here. This is actually really dope. I was really, I know we recently connected on social,
right?
And like when I saw your resume, your LinkedIn resume and stuff, I said, yo, this will be major, because we interview a lot of people that are in tech sales, but the vast majority are entry level or they've only been in for a couple years and they've done dope stuff. But it's like seeing someone like yourself, someone who also drops a lot of gems, a lot of nuggets, information. I say, yo, this would be a dope opportunity to have like, you know, just a beautiful woman of color on here as well to talk about all of her knowledge. So yeah, we're very grateful to have you on.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm really excited to be able to, you know, just share my knowledge and share some of the tips on how I've navigated in this industry, especially, like you said, as a woman of color, more importantly, and just how I've like been able to, I feel like, get to an enterprise level and kind of the strategy that I had behind that when I was I actually started as a sales engineer. I don't know if people know that.
Whoa, I didn't see that under the hold up.
Yeah. So the thing is, you know, at different companies, they call different things different roles.
They do, yeah. So they'll call it one thing, but you'll be doing another job.
So they called me like a business development manager, I guess, but it was definitely a sales engineer. So I got finessed into that. But I came through the IBM Summit program. So that's how I got started. And if you're not familiar with that, they pretty much choose about 200 to 300 people a year around the nation. And I went through, I think, 7 or 8 interviews.
Wait, hold up. You jumping ahead. No, I appreciate it. But no, so want to know your full story. So with your full story, what were you doing? Like, what was life like for Kayla Burks before tech? Like, what were you doing before tech? And what sparked the, I should check out tech.
Okay. So I went to Florida State. I got a degree in information communication and technology, but I was really torn. So when I was going to college, I didn't know if I wanted to do communications because, as you can see, I'm like very active online with content. I'm very well versed, I feel like, when it comes to communication. And I was like, do I want to do this or do I want to be in tech? But I've always had a desktop in my room since I was a kid, which is a privilege, obviously. But I would be coding like MySpace layouts. Like I was like always on a computer. Like it didn't really just start. Even my high school required us to have computers in school. So I feel like my relationship with technology started when I was really a kid. And when I got to Florida State, I actually went there as an undecided major, and I was evaluating computer science or communications, which are just so vast.
Very different.
Yes. Yeah. And I just Googled, like I went on Google and I was like, what will be the highest paid job?
I was about to be like, is that what you Googled? Where the money was at?
I was like, in 2017, I ended up graduating early in 2016, but I was like, in 2017, what will be the highest paid career? And I remember going in with the advisor in college, and she was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, listen, honey, I want to do where the money is at. So once I figured out the advisor couldn't advise me, I had to take it into my own hands. And I was like, where is the check going to be? You know what I mean? And it turned out that one Google search changed my life, but it did turn out that tech is pretty much one of the highest paid industries at the time I had graduated back in the day. So at that point, I had taken a job as a business analyst. So I didn't start off in tech sales. I just went and when I was graduating, everybody was like, you either going to be a developer or an analyst. That was like it. There was no college, anything notifying me that tech sales was even a thing. And I went to Tyson Foods in Arkansas. So I moved from Tallahassee, Florida to Arkansas. And I was miserable. Like, I just did not like that role. I would call my parents crying every day.
This is the business analyst role.
Yeah, and no shade to that, because I don't want to discourage other people from feeling like, you know, being an analyst.
But that wasn't you. That wasn't me. Though.
Yeah, like being very isolated, having limited. Some people like that. They like putting their headphones in and going to work every day. I did not like that. So I made a call to a friend. I always wanted to live in Atlanta. And I was like, I really need to connect. And this is the power of networking. I was like, I really need to connect with somebody at a tech company in Atlanta. And she connected me with a friend named Jamal, who was part of the Summit program at IBM. He had graduated from there. And within about 5 minutes on the phone with me, he's like, I don't know what you do, but you need to get into sales. Yeah. And from there, it just was the lack of information, and then somebody providing that information to me that really led me to apply. Like I said, I went through 8 interviews over 7 months. I ended up getting laid off from Tyson the week before I found out that I was going to get the job at IBM.
That is, man, talk about divine timing.
Right. And when they laid me off, I was so happy because I wanted to get out of Arkansas so bad that I was just like, I know I'm getting this job at IBM. Yeah. So fast forward.
IBM is not a shrimp company. They're a big deal in tech.
Oldest
yeah, they
tech
are.
company.
Yeah, because I remember way back when, and this is about to show how nerdy I am, way back when Apple used to battle with IBM. And this is way back. Back. It was Apple versus IBM. Eventually, Microsoft got into the game, but it was really Apple versus IBM.
The Lenovo's.
And I'm not talking the 90s. We talking like the 80s.
Yes.
Like, we talking back.
Yeah, I would say the 80s was like IBM's like thing, you know?
Yeah.
And even being at that company, just the amount of space research they've done, their patent game and research game is out of this world. Like IBM created like the swipe on chips on cards, like being able to swipe your card.
Know that.
The amount of stuff that has been patented and created at IBM is actually pretty nuts. But great door opener, I would say.
Yeah.
Being with the oldest tech company, coming into like executives training me for sales was very pivotal, I think, into why I have also excelled, as you said, in such a short time into enterprise space. Man,
so that's wild, just the way that all of that worked out, the way it orchestrated. And I love you kind of sharing how you're like, yo, I didn't enjoy this specific role.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's two pieces why I love that. One, I love the fact that you look from a practical level of like, okay, between communications and this, it's like, which one of these are paying well?
Right.
You know, so you looked at the pay first, which in my opinion, I think if you're getting a job, the first thing you should care about is the pay, because the first thing they care about is the money you're going to make them.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you caring about the pay first, but then also once you got in, you realize, yo, this isn't for me. So I enjoy the money, but it's like, I need something that fits me better. Right. So I think that's valuable because people, in my opinion, you can tell me if you agree or disagree, but in my opinion, I do think that people should test something out, 100%. See if it's for them or not. Because at the end of the day, it's like you can do research, but sometimes you need experience to really see if it's for you. And then it's like, be confident enough to be like, yo, this isn't for me. And I love how you touched on the networking component.
Right.
Those in the Patreon community that's been watching the stream all day with all the guests, y'all been hearing networking all throughout the day. So I know it's not just me. You've been seeing all the guests say networking.
It is very crucial.
So you networking, and then you learning about something new, and then you pivoting and making that transition. And so that's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that so much. So you got into IBM, which is a very big deal. And so since then, you've worked at a variety of different tech companies in tech sales roles. Man, first analyst or data analyst, but then a role that was like a sales engineering role, even though the title wasn't sales engineering. Yeah. So like, what's up with that? Like, what happened?
I hated that.
So you ain't rock with the sales engineering.
This is the thing. So so IBM has shifted the way they like run their program now. But when I first got there, you had to choose technical, digital, or client exec.
Okay.
And at the time, to be a client exec, you had to have a master's coming out of school. So that was already off the table. So it was either digital sales or technical. And because I came from a technical background and really went to school for tech, they pretty much put me into the technical side. Like, it wasn't really like a choice. And like at that point, I'm coming to IBM. I didn't really care what role you put me in. I'm trying to get in. You know what I mean? And that's also something I really encourage people to do, is take a role that can get you in and land you somewhere. Yeah. A lot of people overlook that first role, but I didn't stay there. Like, look at where I am now because I took that first role, you know? But so the program, you go through about 6 months of intensive training. Like, they fly you around the country and like send you to like, you get to train. Out. Yeah, so first of all, you get the Amex and you get there. It was you get the Amex and then you get flown out. So it was like, okay, you know, I definitely don't want to do anything other than this.
Yeah, for real.
But it was like the perks that came with it. It made me feel like I was important a little bit. Like, dang, like I'm about to do business for this company. You know, like it was like, okay, I'm a businesswoman.
Like, I'm a consultant for IBM.
Oh, I'm gonna go talk to $1 billion clients. Like, okay, like it was definitely given that. And it was just an all around great experience. And you get to train with tenured sellers, like, so people who have retired from sales are who will train you. And you get tested. Like, it's like, you know, how do you negotiate? You'll be rated on that. How do you open up your discovery calls? You'll be rated on that. So every single week you move through the whole sales process. So I do believe that deep foundation is really what helped me to accelerate my career so quickly, because once I landed onto an enterprise team. But that's because I went through the program. You get what I mean? So then I had to make a decision, because I really didn't like that role. Like I really didn't. Like
so you were an enterprise sales engineer.
Right.
Sheesh.
And the learning curve.
Not title, but the role.
Right.
Though.
But the learning curve essentially pretty much in between that and an architect, which is extremely deep.
Yes.
And it's on mainframes, which was just an area I was kind of like, this is not.
Yeah, a lot of y'all have heard me talk about being a solutions engineer,
Yeah.
which is what I've mainly done in tech up until recently. But a solutions architect, that's like
Even
a
deeper.
whole nother thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to know like infrastructures, networks, like how does this really deploy and intertwine in environments? And I felt like personally for me, the learning curve was extreme for somebody just coming out of college with, you know, general like IT and like, you know, like your basic tech foundations. I may have taken like Java or a few things, but we were displacing companies and replacing them with a whole software stack on mainframe. So not only did I have to understand our stack, but I had to understand what I was replacing.
Yep, man.
And it just got to the point where I was like, I want to be in front of customers. Like I want to be the seller. Like, you know, that's the main relationship holder. Like I was kind of like, I'm doing all the real gritty like work, you know? And I was like, look, this is not what I want to do. So it was crazy because when I went to my manager, she was like, please leave my team. Like I would love for you to go into sales. You'll make way more money. Yeah. And that's where you belong. You know, I think it was her waiting on me to just be like, this is not a fit. So once again, having the courage to understand it's not a fit. That's okay. Mm-hmm. But at that time in my career, I'm at a big tech company. That's intimidating a little bit to even feel like I was comfortable enough to tell somebody, especially my manager, I may not like this role. You know what I mean? So one thing I do now realize, and I really value being at tech companies, is that you have the room to pivot wherever you want to go. As long as you're a really good performer, one thing I've realized is whatever you want to do at a tech company, if you have a sponsor internally to back you and say that this person performs at X level, you pretty much can make that move. And at that point in my career, I really didn't have that knowledge because I'm just fresh out of school. I mean, my parents are immigrants. Like I couldn't call my mom like, hey, you know, how should I make this pivot?
Where your family from?
My mom's from Grenada and my dad's from Barbados. So I'm like a first generation American, dope. I guess. Yeah.
Yo,
so
that's
go
wild.
me.
Yeah, first generation American.
First generation college student, all that.
Messing it up in a good way. I wanted to say something else, but I'll let Eric do all the cussing.
But I'm saved. But yeah, so, you know, from there, I became a BDR. So I had to take a step back. I went from enterprise selling to moving into
entry level in tech sales.
Right,
wow.
which was a major pivot.
Yeah.
But I want to say I was always top 5 in the U.S. for IBM storage digital sales.
Top 5, but not 5. But go ahead.
I was number 2 when I left. I never made it to number 1 at IBM, but definitely maintain that top 5.
2 is that's not like no play.
It's not, but I'm really competitive. Like, I strive to be number 1 in whatever sales organization that I you know, tend to land in. But from there, I knew, so at that point I had to make a decision, right? I'm like, I have to strategize. How do I get from sales engineer on enterprise sales, take a step back, go to this BDR position, and then pivot into where I want to be and what I envision myself, which was an enterprise account executive. Like that was the goal. So I was like, okay, I crushed it at IBM and I left. I was like, I have to go to a smaller company. I knew I had to do that. And a lot of people may stay there or like think the big companies are really easy to navigate, but what you can do at a startup in 2 to 4 years will take you double the time at a Microsoft, a IBM, these Amazons. You're up against way more competition. Yes. You're up against a lot harder quotas. It's just a lot more difficult.
And would you say, and of course you can't speak for all of the
everybody,
companies,
no.
But would you say that at a bigger tech company versus a startup, generally speaking, that at bigger tech companies it's more like you're a number in terms of like in terms of you scaling, because like you have less visibility because there are so many people.
I think it's a combination of being a number, but I also...
I didn't knock on wood because we said that. We said so many people.
I was like, what? I think it's a combination, right? I think if you are a performer, you're going to perform wherever you go.
Big facts.
Like, if you number 1 at Microsoft or number 1 at a startup, you number 1. So, like, is it harder to be number 1 at Microsoft? Yes. Yeah. But I just took a vacation. I was number one up until my birthday. But yeah, and that's also the thing with sales. You got to stay on it because it's a competition. So I took a full week off and I came back and other people like, you know, are ahead of me now. But
it's a tough thing, especially when that quarter change. It's like it resets
it's like,
the clock.
But I enjoy my birthday. I'm not worried about it. But no matter where I go, I say I'm going to be the number one performer. And the reason I say that is because when I went to the startup, so I ended up going to OneTrust, which is the fastest growing startup ever. So that wasn't either just like a startup. That was like, I got thrown right into the fire.
Because I know about OneTrust now, and they're a big deal now.
Right. Yeah. And I was a 2-time number one performer at OneTrust. Within the first 2 quarters, I was the number one person there. But I came in, and my energy when I got there was, you have to get back to where you just were. So it's a whole different motivation. Now I'm like, you know, at that point, I didn't understand how big of a company OneTrust is. I'm just thinking I left one of the biggest IBM. Tech companies in the world. Like I'm not looking. Yeah. But OneTrust gave me all of my selling experience because I've never dealt with so much. I'm talking about like every day I'm having a customer call. You don't really have that experience. I would say at Microsoft, not IBM. A lot of sellers at Microsoft are definitely having everyday conversations with sellers, but to really get that type of experience on an enterprise level, and I didn't start at enterprise. I got promoted within 6 months there. I started as a large corporate enterprise. So I actually didn't even believe in myself that much. I applied for a small middle business, and they were like, we think your experience is a little better than that. I was like, okay.
I'll take that extra money.
I'll take the large corporate role. And within 6 months, I became an enterprise, and I started managing enterprise and strategic deals there. So that was really a great experience. Combined with my manager, like I just got really lucky. I'll say this is my second time just getting really lucky when it comes to management. That is also really important, like how well you're managed and how well these people can advocate for you internally, you know? So, just going to OneTrust, crushing it. In my mind, it got conflicting though, because I loved being at OneTrust. I still miss OneTrust to this day, even though I'm at Microsoft. Dang. Like that was probably my favorite place I've ever worked. But
she want to spin the block on OneTrust.
OneTrust
hit her line. OneTrust sliding her LinkedIn DMs. OneTrust.
No, I loved OneTrust, and really the decision to go to Microsoft was that Microsoft reached out to me. Yeah. So it was kind of like, do I turn the biggest, Microsoft's the second biggest tech company in the world. It's kind of like, how do you turn down Microsoft coming to you like, hey, we're building a new team in Atlanta. We want you to be part of that.
Hey, y'all, we have some incredible news that I'm super excited about to finally announce our private tech community. Yes, you heard that right. A private tech community exclusively for you all who want more than just a podcast. You want more than just the FAQs. You want to talk with tech recruiters. You want to talk with hiring managers. You want to talk with coaches. You want to talk with people that can help with editing and rewriting your resume. Maybe you're somebody where you just want to be a part of a community where we're talking about updates of what's happening in the software industry. Y'all, this community that we've launched is also going to involve a Discord where we're going to be talking about updates in tech. We're going to be talking about companies that are hiring. We're going to be talking about upcoming tech events. So that way you don't have to miss any of the gems that I know, but not even just what I know, but the gems that friends of mine that are also in the tech industry know as well. So if you want to be a part of that community, go ahead and sign up so that way you can join us. We have a few different tiers. Ultimately, it's all tuned in for you. Oh, and last thing, also within this community, we're going to be streaming all of our interviews with our podcast guests. So instead of you having to wait months to watch the videos later on, you'll actually be able to watch the interviews in real time and ask your live questions to those guests. So make sure you join our tech community.
And I'm not sure if this is the case at the time, because when were you at Microsoft?
I got to Microsoft in October, so around like end of August, September is when they reached out to me. It took about a month for me to make
that. Like what year?
This year. Last year. Yeah, I've only been at Microsoft for about 6 months.
So they're the number 2 tech company, but they're actually, a lot of people don't know this. I just found this out yesterday. They're actually the most valuable tech company.
Biggest market cap.
It was Apple, but Microsoft actually passed them in late 2022 for the largest. And so a lot of people don't even know that. Like the Microsoft's number 1 now.
Yeah, they have the strongest market cap when it comes to tech stocks, everything. And being there, I see that. Like one thing I will say about the startup is there's a lot of uncertainty. So, you know, being in that environment versus leaving at IBM where it's like, oh, they've been around 100 years. I know I'm good here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely a different feel when it comes to the certainty. But transparently speaking, I would say my base at Microsoft is higher, but the commission setup at OneTrust, don't sleep on the startups. Don't sleep on the startups. I'm telling people, when people ask me about this all the time, I tell them, do not sleep on the startups. Startups give you accelerators. Yeah. They give you incentives to go out here and drive their solution on the market like it's nobody's business. So, I mean, at OneTrust, you had the possibility to do 300% on your number.
Whoa!
Like, so yeah, one of my coworkers in small middle business did $94,000 in commission in 90 days. No cap. I tell you this, no cap.
God, dog. Yo, I love that you said that, especially you being someone who you worked at a lot of big tech companies. I mean, shoot, you named IBM, you named Microsoft. But for you to say, yo, I worked at these tech companies, like, learned a lot, gained a lot, all of that. But, yo, at the end of the day, like, yo, y'all sleeping on the startups. And I see a lot of people in my community, because I'm not a recruiter, but we've kind of found ourselves with Tech is the New Black being, like in the middle between recruiters, but also being, like, consultants in a way, or career advisors. Right. And one of the things I've noticed is that people are just trying to go for the big fish. And it's like, yo, not only will you have a higher probability of getting hired at a smaller company, a startup, but it's like also, like you mentioned earlier, it's like your ability to scale is significantly greater. Right. The experience, the things you'll learn will be like, it's a lot to it. But also it's like, I think the biggest thing people think about is they assume, oh, that's a bigger company, I'm gonna get paid way more. Maybe
these big tech companies they put so much in place for you to hit your quota. It's like, they like, even like basically like at Microsoft right now, like half of my payouts like in commission is going to be through stock, which is cool. Like, I don't mind that, but I also just would have preferred to get my money and invest it how I would like to invest it. You know what I mean? Not in a Microsoft stock necessarily, even though it's the strongest stock. I may have investment plays I just personally want to make, and I don't want to have to sell that stock, get taxed on it, and then reinvest it, right? Exactly. So it's like, depending on where you are, I feel like understand the package and do what works for you. Like, a lot of people are really shooting for AWS or, you know, like Salesforce or like these huge companies where you might just have a better work-life balance at a startup. You might make more money because there's more opportunity. There's not a million people trying to eat out of one pot, if that makes sense. You might just have a team of 10 people. Now imagine splitting all that money with 10 sellers versus 300 in my organization right now. You know what I mean? Like, yes, they make more money, of course, but it's all relative. It's like, it's really how I like to look at it. But I don't knock either. I think the stability I have at Microsoft, I mean, I have free health insurance. Like, I mean, that's kind of lit. I don't pay for health insurance. I get like,
is that including dental and all that
everything,
stuff too?
Yeah, everything. No health insurance. They give you like, I think $600 to $800 in the HSA a year. We're talking about like insane. My negotiation on the stock package is cool. Like, I think I got like around $15,000 a year in stocks coming in before any performance. Nice. So it's also what you negotiate. You know what I mean? And my base, I would say, is like mid 150, like 150.
Ooh, that's a nice base.
Like 130. My base is like 130.
That's a good base.
Yeah. So, and that's like starting. So as you can imagine, if I get promoted or something in the next few months, it would definitely increase. You got your base,
you got your commission, you got your stock options,
and then you have stocks that come in on top of that.
Yeah.
And what I like about Microsoft is your stocks vest every 90 days after your first year, which a lot of tech companies have you locked in, and you don't get that money until it vests.
Yeah,
after each year. So if
I've been in somewhere it's like a couple. You have to. I've been in somewhere it's like you get this percentage if you're there after a year, and then you get the rest after. And it's like, yo, so that's 90 days is crazy.
But it's really cool. I can make up to $44,000 a year in stocks just off my performance on top of 15. So easily a $250,000 package, like just walking in the door, and about 75% of it is guaranteed before I even have to sell anything. So it's like,
it's crazy.
That stability is definitely different than the startup. You know what I mean? But like I said, more money, more work, like a lot more work. It's not easy to be number one here, like OneTrust. I'll put it that way. I'm definitely grinding.
So, man, so many pieces you said that I like have like a lot of respect for you, just your mentality, you wanting to be number one, things like that. I love the fact of not only you addressing the data analyst, but also you addressing, because I mean, again, my background in tech is primarily sales engineer.
Right.
And one of the things I've noticed is that, and I'm sure you've probably seen it too, where many times I'm a person, I don't necessarily tell people, oh, become a sales engineer. I try to point them to a few different routes and a few different options. But one of the things I've noticed is that most people that follow me, many of them try to become a sales engineer. And my first question would be, well, why do you want to be a sales engineer? Right. And when we really get down to the nitty gritty of it, it's because they know me and they're like, you're in tech, you seem to be doing good. I want to do what you did. Yeah. And it's like, yo, pump the brakes. You might not enjoy being a sales engineer. Right. Like, I enjoyed it, but it fits me.
Right.
But I know people that are in tech sales and they're like, I would never want to do that. And I know people that are sales engineers like, I would never want to do that thing. And it's like, you're the first person I've had on that said out of their mouth like, yo, I didn't enjoy that sales engineer stuff. And I love people hearing that, because I love people hearing, okay, you know what, let me pull back.
Right.
Somebody who's sitting here with Cyrus just said to Cyrus, yo, what you do is all right, but that ain't for me.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll make people reconsider. And again, the goal isn't to scare anybody. The goal is to help people make help them
decisions.
Yeah, be better career advisors than a career advisor you had.
Yeah.
when you were in school.
Literally. And I think there's major differences in our role. Like, you know, like if you are somebody who's more technically astute, in my opinion, that's a great role. Like if you want to talk to customers about technical features, demo products, if that's your niche and you're great at that, you still have to have great presentation skills, great customer facing skills, but your focus is more on the technology. My focus is on the business, right? Like the contracts, the money. That's what I'm focused on a day-to-day basis. And that's what drives me. Like, I like the numbers. I like math. I like money. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I've never known how much the product has cost at any company I worked at.
Right.
And it's like, I've never known that, because that's not for me to know. But I would know a lot of the technical. I would know more about the product than most of the tech sales people that I work with. So
I like being the quarterback. That's how I think of myself. Like,
and y'all are the quarterbacks.
Yeah, like I want to be the quarterback. You know, I'm gonna throw the ball to the receiver or run the ball or whoever I need to bring in or whatever I need to orchestrate so we can all make the play. That's how I'm looking at it. That's how I look at sales. Yeah. The sales engineer is coming in, but I tell everybody the sales engineer sells. You sell the product.
Oh, yeah. We do.
I sell the relationship. I sell the business. You sell the product.
That's the truth.
So, like, people got to understand that. Because if my sales engineer sucks, I can't make business happen.
I've had...
like, you know what I'm saying? It's a team thing, like, for
I've
real.
been a part of teams. So, as a sales engineer, I'm attached to the team of account executives that I work with, or tech sales reps, whatever. And there have been times where account executives or sales reps that were with other teams, they didn't want to use their sales engineer. They would hit me up and be like, they would throw a demo on my calendar, and I'd be like, did y'all go to y'all person? They'd be like, Cyrus, please, he sucks.
Literally.
Like, it's like, I'm tired of losing deals because he doesn't know how to demo.
So it's not just me. Like, I can't just close the business. I can't just close the business. It really takes synergy. When I was making that type of money, I had a really good synergy. Like, it was like me and my partner, like it was me and another account executive and one sales engineer, because we sold like kind of like a dual product, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But when I was at OneTrust, I was a data governance executive. So what I was doing is I was helping companies to protect our sensitive information. So how do we, scan into an infrastructure, understand what data lives in there and what is highly sensitive? You got a credit card, you go to Walmart, you swipe it, Cyrus's name, your whole card, your expiration, all that is living somewhere once you do that swipe. So how do you know that's actually protected? Where does it live once it goes there? This is like the conversation I was having. But my counterpart, he was selling the privacy solutions. So like, how does the organization take that data now and remain audit compliant? Like, how do you build this into your other processes within your organization? So we had to have a really good synergy, because we're trying to sell the whole solution. We're not just trying to sell
just one part,
my part or yours.
Both parts,
we killed it. Like, it was just like magic. Like, so I also think being a great team player is a really great skill and characteristic to have in tech sales. because it's extremely competitive. You're like definitely up against your quota and your number, but you can't really make that happen unless you are a team player and understand how to facilitate the team that you need. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was really dope experience. I would say that.
Yo, for everybody who is listening and you're thinking that you're interested in a career in tech sales, I suggest you check out Course Careers. Course Careers is a tech boot camp that you can do entirely from home. It's entirely virtual and it's self-paced. So that means you can knock it out in as early as 2 weeks or even take a few months if you need to. Now, the really cool thing about Course Careers is that they're actually partnered with multiple tech companies that are hiring their students right after finishing the program. The great thing about Course Careers is that with those partnerships, they're able to guarantee you jobs with some of their partner companies. Now, beyond that alone, the other cool thing we want to tell you about them is that Course Careers is actually only $500. That's it, nothing more, nothing less. But since we partner with Course Careers, they're offering our audience a discount of $50 off that already low price. So make sure you use our discount link that we have below, so that way you can take advantage of that $50 off that already low price. Do Course Careers at your own pace and let us know what job you end up getting from it. So, oh man, got a few questions on here. And you got my mind going like
Sorry.
1,000 different. No, it's a good thing. No, I definitely enjoy it because I mean I like to have like conversations I actually enjoy. So if you could just give some tips on how people can be consistent top performers, because again, like you've done a lot in just 8 years. You've done a crap ton. And I mean, again, senior level enterprise tech sales, top performer. How have you been able to do that? You know, I know you mentioned a little bit of networking. You mentioned, of course, like work, but like what are some tips or advice you can give to somebody that doesn't just want to get in the industry, but they want to be a top level performer?
I studied like sales, you know what I mean? Sales is an art, in my opinion. Like sales is really understanding emotional intelligence. It's understanding like personas of individuals, like how someone comes on the phone, like simple things. Like there's certain phrases I may not use. And this came with learning and tuning. And I also am very, very accountable as an individual. So for example, I told my manager when I first got to Microsoft, I said, if I'm not number one, you need to call my phone and let me know right now. And what did she do last week? She called my phone and said, what's going on? You're not number one right now. You know what I'm saying? She was like, I know you took your birthday break. You about to go to Seattle on Monday. You got 2 weeks to hit your number this month. So, you know, I need you to step up right now. And I went up this week. Like, that's how I am. Like, I'm like, yeah, like I tell my management, like, this is my goal, is to be number one. Like, I'm coming into any organization with that energy. So, and I manifest, like, I'm really big on manifesting, and that's like a whole nother topic outside of this. But I speak that into existence. Before I got to Microsoft, you can go on my YouTube, my blogs, I was telling them I'm going to be a number one performer there. Like, I have that mindset that's just gonna happen for me, and it does repeatedly. And I think it's because I believe that I should be number one. Yeah. I don't believe anybody else should be number one, because if I'm not number one, that means like I'm lacking in some area that I can fine tune. But I would say the main things, like I said, is studying sales. Read some books on sales. Listen to people who are top sellers. What are their methodologies on how they communicate with customers, how they respond to people? How do you send emails and marketing? How do you keep perfecting that? Like, you know, do you do A/B testing with your marketing? Are you, you know, trying to hit a certain number? Like, if you get a number, you should be trying to beat that number, because you'll fall on that number.
You low-key sound like the Kobe of tech sales.
Like, so I'm like
Mamba mentality.
And I think I was an athlete. I ran track. So I think a lot of this stems just from my life. I've been highly competitive, like, in my lifetime. So just not, you know, something somebody told me at IBM before I left was, one, there's two quotes that I really live by. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anybody else? That's one of the biggest quotes that I live by. If I don't believe I could be number one, why would anybody else think I could be number one? Like, that's the energy I should have when I wake up. And two, somebody told me your professionalism is a reflection of you. So if you don't care about it, that says a lot about how you feel about yourself.
Wow. Yeah.
And I'll never forget that, because I asked him, I was like, how come you're just so professional? Like, why do you care like so much? And he was like, why don't you care?
Ooh.
Why don't you care about what you do every day and what you wake up to put in the effort to do? Like, why half-ass it? Like, why give 75% of it, you know?
Yeah.
And the more that I've had that mentality, the easier it becomes to be number one, because most people don't come in with that mentality.
Yeah.
They just don't. Like, they're just like, I just got a job. I'm just going to perform. Whereas I'm like, no, I want to be the number one performer.
Yes.
You know, and it reflects, and management sees it, and VP sees it, and that's how you accelerate as an individual as well. Like, I just got chosen out of 10 people who've been hired in the past 6 months to go to headquarters in Seattle to now go for a week to meet with executives. So then that opens the door now to way more opportunity. And then having the African American representation, I'm already a Black woman, so there's nobody else typically like on the team that's like me. It just, you have to like look at all these things and take them into consideration and say, I have these tools. How do I utilize them to my advantage? Yeah. I'm a Black woman. I'm the biggest minority in this space, and I'm outperforming white men. Like, it's gonna be seen. It's gonna be talked about. It's just nothing else. So the more that registered in my mind, and then the reaction when it first happened, let me know everything I needed to know. It was like,
what was the reaction like?
I mean, you got white men, like, they're like, this girl, like, this girl did this, you know? And then being a girl, sales is very male dominated.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So I'll get on the phone with a customer and, like, it's just a lot easier to talk to males as a female, personally. I already have that advantage. I think a lot of women don't
realize
like,
how...
Yeah.
There are a lot of women who they're like, I don't want to... They're like, I'm not sure I don't want to do tech sales. I'm like, well, why don't you? Is it because you don't want to do it? Or because they're like, I'm not sure if, like, I'll be good at it, or I don't... I'm like, you don't understand that women, generally speaking, women have, like, a skill that men, like men, we sometimes have to like exert like a certain level of aggression.
It's an ego thing.
Like with women, y'all have these...
When two men get on a call, it's like, I'm the smarter one. Like, it's like this thing, whereas I'm just like, how can I help you or better understand your needs today?
Yeah, it's like
how
catering.
Can I, like, you know, it's a very different energy. And my manager will always laugh because, like, he would get chewed out on a call, and I can call the same customer with a different tone, a whole different energy, and get what I want out of a customer. Yeah. Like,
I used to love demoing with the sales rep that was a woman. And it was like, because the way they could talk to the customers was so, and it's using the femininity, like still being a sales, but like using like that femininity, like that, like using that skill set.
It's a
I've seen
energy.
the men get weak and be like, they'll just be like, yeah, so we're going to set up the next call, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And they would just assume everything, and they'll be like, yeah, sure. And they'll be like, so do you want to go with like the cheaper package, or are you going to go for like the full thing?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, we're going to go for the full thing?
No, literally.
It's like, yo, we going to go for the full thing.
Yeah, like, it's just that. And then I think also, like, being like a young person in tech, when I start to articulate myself a certain way and exert my value around technology, that alone, I always tell people, to be really great, you need to be an expert. Like, I don't like getting on my calls like I don't know the answer to that. Like, even if I'm not the sales engineer, I still listen to what you're saying, because I don't want to always have to call you or depend on you to like answer my customer questions. The best thing is active listening. I tell people this all the time. The key to selling is just shut up. Just shut up. Let them talk. This was one of the biggest gems that was dropped on me very early in my sales career, was the less you talk, the more information you're getting from the customer. The more you're talking, the sales call is not going well.
Yeah.
You're talking too much. I'm not saying don't ask, you want to ask questions that uncover challenges with your customers. But once I ask that question, I'm not cutting you off. I'm not jumping in.
Yes.
I'm letting you give me what I need. I'm taking a second to process. I'm taking notes actively, which is really important. I always tell people, be very proactive with your note taking, because that's how you go back and strategize. Right? Like I said, I like being the quarterback. So now I know what play to run the next time I talk to you, because I listen to you. And there's just things that people miss that are very, very important, I feel like, in sales. And it could be like you were in sales for 10 years, but you just haven't mastered certain skills that uncover, help you negotiate, help you really like ask those tough questions. Sometimes it's really tough to ask certain questions on a customer call, you know? So
it could be like uncomfortable questions sometimes.
Right.
You have to ask
And
them.
it's like, how do I go about that? How do you handle objections? Do you get upset? Can your customer, you know, see that you're like, you may be a little upset that you're resisting, you know, like it's just so much more being personable to me than selling. And I consider myself like an advisor to my clients more than a seller. Like, I'm not selling you anything. You have a problem and we could either be the fit or not. Like, I'm not really selling you anything. Like, if I don't feel like it's a fit, I'm not going to push that on the customer, because they can pick up that energy. Like,
definitely.
You know, so I would say that's really what I personally feel like has really helped me elevate my career, is treating this as I'm talking to another person when I get on the phone. Like, that's just it. Like, I'm not talking to a CEO or a CISO. I'm talking to somebody who's really busy, has a problem, has a lot of KPIs they need to hit internally, has their management on their ass. So how can I make your life easier today, right? So like when I approach the problem from that perspective, it's like, oh, I actually enjoyed talking to Kayla like today. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
Yeah, you dropped so many bars. I'm like deeply appreciative of a lot of the things you shared. I mean, even a component of like, today we see a lot of people who there are a lot of people, they like have big dreams, big goals, but then they just expect it to just be handed to them. I love how you have big dreams, big goals. So you know, you're not thinking small at all. You thought big. I'm always thinking about that audio. You're thinking small, you need to think big. But
I love that.
I love that about you. But also, I think the other end that people miss out on, there are a lot of people that don't have that grit, that work ethic. And then there are people that have grit and work ethic, but they're not making tweaks. You also spoke about how you're making tweaks. You're doing things outside of your job to learn more about sales. And also you've seen your strengths as a woman, as a Black woman, as you, Kayla Burks, just individually, and you use those to your advantage. And I love that about you. And I really hope people are absorbing all the things you're sharing. I have one last question on here. For those of y'all in the Patreon community that are tuning in right now, if y'all got questions, make sure y'all putting them in the chat right now. Because after I ask this question, after she answers this, we're going to get to your questions, and then we're going to wrap up. So, been in this industry 8 years. You've been killing it, making a big bag, scaling up big tech companies, small tech companies, all of that. What are you doing? How are you leveraging tech, whether you're branding tech or the income that you're making? Like, what are you doing in terms of side hustles or things outside of tech?
So, initially, so I invest. I have a 401k, I have life insurance, VULs, I have I have a bunch of stuff, right, that I invest in, stock portfolios. And that's just more like passive, like long-term things that I'm thinking about when I think about that. But one, social media is, as you know, like we kind of are in the same space. So social media is definitely one of my side hustles that I would talk about. But it's more of a passion for me. I think that I definitely just enjoy helping people, and speaking life into people is something that I feel like I'm very, very good at. Like, I just started to notice, like, everybody always come to me like, yo, what should I do with my life? Or what should I do? And it just started to click to me, like, you already naturally give people advice on all this stuff. You should definitely monetize it and set up structures around it. And, like you said, realizing what I was doing and the space I was in and looking around, like, there was nobody else online really. Like, now there's a huge wave of like all these tech girls, but 2 years ago when I started this, I would say like in Atlanta, like I didn't really know that many girls who were just tech girls just hopping online. Like,
it's still a new thing. It is a new thing.
And I was like, you are yourself. Like you're lit, you know, on the weekends, you have fun. I still live a very normal, fun life for my age. And how do you show people that you can be authentically yourself and still have a career like this? Because it was a misconception that you have to be a certain way, or you're boring or nerdy or whatever it is, you know, to be in tech. And I realized that. But outside of that, I've had multiple businesses. Like, I've had Airbnb units. I've done my biggest baby that I stopped because I wanted to focus on more of a tech side hustle, because I felt like it was pulling me in two directions. But I started a hookah company here in Atlanta 2 years ago called the Sky High Club. And I was making more money than working doing hookah in Atlanta. And I was able to scale a team. I got contracted to like Harold's on the south side. And then I had an online, it started with an e-commerce. I just started selling smoking, like, I was just in bed one day, like, doing analytical research, like, literally, like, just doing things I do in the middle of the night. But I was, like, researching, like, analytics on, like, Amazon products. And instead of running it on Amazon, I was like, well, now I have the source on, like, these analytics on how many people want this product. I'm just going to push it myself and cut out the middleman, which was Amazon. So I started an e-commerce business. And the more pop-ups I would do in Atlanta, everybody was like, well, why do you have all these hookah accessories or smoking accessories, but you don't actually serve hookah? And it hit me, like, I was like, why wouldn't I just go pay for one set inventory and make all this money off of one initial investment, which probably was like, I want to say I probably spent $2,500 to start my hookah company.
Wow, that's a steal.
I mean, yeah, a hookah wholesale is about anywhere from $50 to $70. And what do you pay when you go to a lounge to smoke hookah? $50 to $70.
Yeah, literally. Whoa, that's the truth.
So yeah, I felt like I was like Pablo Escobar at the moment. Like,
Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like this is literally like an epidemic in my community, like right now. Like it is literally every corner.
The hookah thing
it is on every corner. It is everywhere. And I started doing private events. And like to this day, people will call my phone like, yo, you want to come do an event? So I was collecting like in 4 to 5 hours, I could make 2 bands.
Dang.
4 hours.
Dang.
And so imagine doing
getting the tech bag in the day and the hookah bag at night.
Yeah. So like at that point, I wasn't really advertising tech online. Like I was just, you know, on Instagram and it just made sense. The numbers, like I said, I'm a numbers girl. Like the analytics, I'm all about numbers. So for me, it was just logical. It was like, why am I going into every lounge on the weekend spending $75 to go smoke hookah when I could be the person making $75 a head, and I know people are gonna get 3 hookahs, 4 hookahs at a table at one moment.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like
that
mind
makes
blowing,
perfect sense.
and it just took off so quickly.
I don't have to pay for a lot of hookah. I'm not a hookah person, but I've been out plenty of times. Somebody like, I want some hookah, and I'm like, I guess how much is the hookah here? $80.
And that's the other thing. I just had to talk to the guys once again, because girls don't really have to pay for their hookah. Yeah. So I'm just like, she wants a hookah. Like, you know.
Oh, that's what always happens. They'll skip over me and be like, they'll go to the girl, you want a hookah?
Right.
And I'll be like, you know I'm the one that's got to pay. And they'll be like, okay, cool. Okay, she want a hookah. You like, okay.
Yeah, we got to the point where we were straight thugging with it. We was like, we don't got no change. Hundo, thanks. It's all rip. We was mobbing, and I had my friends. It was such a fun business because it's like, then I got my friends who was in tech sales with me too. They hustling too, so I'm like, yo, y'all want to come work with me on the weekends?
It's like y'all be selling us CEOs and senior level executives.
I got booked for FAMU's homecoming. I got booked for my first weekend. This is to tell y'all how I am. Like I booked a festival, the first event I ever had. I was so in over my head. I was just like, yeah, I could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got experience. We gonna do this. We gonna do this. Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah, I did like FAMU's homecoming. I did like really massive events. Like I was getting contracted to stuff that was like insane. So I'm like, it got to the point where I was just like, I didn't even have a moment to breathe. You know what I mean? So I was like, am I gonna leave my everyday tech job and do hookah? Yeah. And then I just stepped back and I was like, 1, I don't want to smoke hookah like this all day, every day. You know, you got to pull it and do a lot. 2, it was a very laborious job. I'm somebody who works on a computer. So this is a whole shift in what I'm doing. And then 3, like you said, like just identifying your purpose. I'm like, that's not really purposeful. You know what I mean? Like it was more
it's not making an impact.
Yeah. So now I can make the same amount online, helping people. You know, helping people to get into tech. Yeah. Freedom. So now it's just kind of like I pivoted and I was like, let me reevaluate, and whatever side hustle I do next has to intertwine with my day job so that I'm not pulled in 2 different directions.
Exactly.
So
that's wisdom. That's wisdom.
Yeah.
Man, that's super good. And I love that you do that. I definitely encourage, I mean, if it fits you, I encourage people to do the same thing. Obviously, y'all know, I have a tech brand. So if you're that kind of person, I encourage y'all to do it as well. Because I'm the type of person I've noticed in this space, there are some people that are there are literally people who have told people like, oh, I don't want to work with him. I don't want to go on his podcast as a guest because I'm trying to copy what he's doing and do the same thing. I'm like, copy what I'm doing, do the same thing, and we can collaborate. We can cross pollinate, because at the end of the day, we're gonna help more people. Right. It's like everybody isn't gonna watch Tech is the New Black. Like everyone isn't gonna watch. Shouts out to Big Tech Energy, other tech podcasts. It's like, yo, we can all help people, and all of us get a bag, get brand deals, all those things at the end of the day. So I love what you're doing, and I encourage people to tap in with her. So we are over time, so we do have to jump to the questions that we have in the chat from the Patreon community. So question that we got from the Patreon community, they're asking our guest Kayla Burks. They're asking, yo, Kayla, does your day look like a technical 9 to 5 where it's just you have the same structure every day, or does it vary day by day?
I would say it's pretty routine. You know what I mean? I would say your onboarding experience is going to differ no matter what company you're at. So now that I've surpassed like my onboarding experience coming to Microsoft, I pretty much work 9 to, I would say 6:30. Like I still put in like an extra hour after work, just because like you wake up, you might make some breakfast. You don't really always start at 9 a.m. So I also give myself that time back. So it just depends on the day. Some days I might finish earlier. I might have all my account planning and just need to like blast out some emails. It really depends on the needs of the day. But yeah, I would say there's been times in my career where I may have had to get certificates, do extra learning. Yeah, I'm up till 9, 10 o'clock that night, But there's other times where I don't really got nothing to do but just go to work every day. And if I'm doing well or if I'm at my number, I'm not really like stressing after work. But in the beginning of my career, I did put in a lot of time after work. And I think that's a major thing. Like I am at the point of where I want to be. I'm thinking of how do I get out of sales now into more like the management. Like I'm trying to now elevate the ladder in corporate America and become a VP or an executive in the next, like, I would say 5 years, to be honest.
I mean, that's definitely your trajectory.
Right.
You're already
now it's
level.
like a different focus.
Because is there a principal? There's not a principal level in
I guess strategic.
In tech sales. Is it? Yeah,
strategic. But at Microsoft, that's very, very limited. Like I feel like after this or strategic, what I'm personally thinking about is actually moving into like program management, because program management is actually internally being able to do a lot of selling, like to executives, buy-ins on budgets, and learning how the business executes on programs. So trying to tap in. I don't know what I want to do yet, but I'm thinking of that because I want to land somewhere else that can give me that experience to now move into an executive track. So that's kind of where I'm at. So if you see me get out of tech sales, it's because I'm trying to elevate now and not get stuck in sales. Because after sales, some people want to stay there forever. Yeah. It really depends, So that's what I would say.
What else we got, Eric?
What are your thoughts about working for tech unicorns as an SDR? Do those companies tend to be in business for a long time?
Like I mentioned throughout the interview, I don't knock startups. And I think as an SDR, you should be trying to get your foot in the business. Your goal as an SDR and BDR, in my opinion, is to learn what tech sales is, because you're just prospecting. Yeah. You're not actually selling yet. So it's like, take that opportunity to shadow your sellers. Like wherever you are, take it as a learning lesson and a learning step, because that's what I did. I left the enterprise role to go into a BDR role because, you know what I mean? Like I wanted the experience, and hunting is a really, really crucial skill in sales. So I don't know if they last long. It would depend on the company. That's kind of like a very difficult question to answer just vaguely like that. But I would say I think you should be open to any opportunity that you can find when you're starting out. And from there, you crush it, because once you crush it, if you go to Microsoft and tell them, hey, I was at a startup and I did 200% on my quota consistently for 4 quarters, they're going to hire you.
For real. Like that's what they want to know, is like, what did you do in sales more than where were you at? You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to double down on what she said. So one, like, amen to everything she said. 2, to kind of go further, don't have the mentality that if you're afraid, if you think, oh, this company might not be around long, really, you only need the company to be around another 6 months to a year. Which the company, if they're hiring you right now, they're hiring you at least knowing that they have a runway of money for the next year to 2 years. So like she mentioned, take the role, kill it at the company, but while you're killing it at the company, also be networking outside of your company, building up those connections. So that way, if your company starts to fail or something weird happens, you already have a network and you have those metrics like she mentioned because you've been killing it. And that way you can speak to those metrics and you'll have a plethora of companies that'll accept you with open arms.
Right. And make sure your LinkedIn is optimized because I don't look for jobs anymore. Like, I don't. Like,
you got them and they
it's like very
DMs,
difficult
like,
when people
up?
Ask us stuff like that though, because it's like, I don't really search for jobs. Jobs find me now.
Yeah.
So, you know, so put yourself in position to not have to search for a job.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? OneTrust laid off quarter of the company and 3 weeks later I was like, yeah, well, I'm going to Microsoft. You know what I mean? Because I put myself in a position to always keep my LinkedIn up to date. And I always have on, what is it called? Like searching for
open to work.
Yeah.
Open
and the
to
reason
work.
I do that is to always make sure I'm getting the right price paid where I'm at.
Yes.
Like I need to know that the salary I'm being compensated. If you come in my DMs, think about it. If I hopped in your DMs like, hey, you want to make $300K and you making $150 right now, you want to be like, shoot, well, I might need to consider why I'm making $150 where I'm at. You know what I mean? So it's the networking part is very crucial to you, like maintaining where you are, but also understanding and planning your next move, I think.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.